and welcome again to Freed to Heal. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, every platform that there is. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am so honored tonight to have a man that was in my group while incarcerated and is been home now for 5 years and is doing wonderful work. And the thing that is inspiring to me about this is the fact that he is doing work on behalf of the population, and he can share with you all any of the things that he wants to share about being in the group inside the prison, as well as anything that actually helped him when he came home. And I'm going to allow him to introduce himself.
Cancer, and my name is Derek.
He's Sugar Hill gang up in here.
Okay.
All right, hi, my name is Derek Hill. I'm currently working with Dad's Back Academy. It's under the umbrella of Friends Outside Los Angeles. I first met Noreen when I was incarcerated. I've been home around 5 years, so it had to be around 7 years ago, 6 or 7 years ago. Her and another young lady, I want to say Melinda came in, and naturally, well, not naturally, most guys go to groups so they can just try to see somebody because they don't get visits or whatever, right? Myself, I went to groups because I didn't want to be in a dorm with guys not doing anything, playing dominoes and cards, the same old thing every day. And I'm always eager to learn. So one day I would do Toastmasters, one day I would do financial literacy, one day I would do just different little classes. And when I went to Noreen's class, it was a little bit of everything in her class. And I made sure I sat right up front. I nagged her to death. I made sure I got all the information that I could from these two women. And Noreen was what word would I want to use? Very transparent about her relationship, about what she was going through. And it made it a lot easier for us in there to accept them when they came in. And it went from most of the guys just looking at them, women being in prison, for them just to be something to see, to, hey, we were really learning something. And then that's when I started to bring other guys to the group. And what I can say is this: not only did it help me ease my time while I was at CRC, it actually did wonders for me for when I got home. I went to the halfway house at Amity. I went to Amity to the halfway house, and my facilitator, which they call demonstrator, he got sick a couple of days, and he just kind of looked at me and said, "Hey, Derek, you got all those certificates and stuff. Would you facilitate some of the groups for me this week?" And I said, "No problem." And then a couple of people would come in and look. I said, "Damn, you running the class?" I'm like, yeah, this is easy stuff. I did this in prison. And then one day he said, "You know what? You do really good at that. You command the audience and whatnot." And they were really listening to you a lot more than they listened to me. And I was like, nah, don't say that. He said, "Nah, you really be good at this kind of work." I said, "Man, I would never, ever come back into a prison or into a halfway house or nothing to come do this kind of shit. You got me effed up, right?"
As in fucked up.
Yeah.
I want to be clear.
Oh, okay. I didn't know we could cuss.
Tell the speaker, you know Noreen the 100 zone child.
Because my vocabulary is way past cuss words.
Hello, that's right. Do what you do.
But I'll say this. It didn't dawn on me because I came home to a good situation. The house I was living in had been paid since 1958. My great grandfather, we had a house on Adams and Edge Hill, one house from the corner. As a matter of fact, Sugar Ray Robinson lived directly across the street from us. So we had this gigantic duplex that I lived in. I had no bills, no nothing. Came home with about $5,000 cash. Somebody gave me a 2006 Jaguar with only 25,000 miles on it. So I was really blessed. And then after a while, I'm just sitting there. I was like, man, I'm not doing nothing. I wasn't used to not doing anything. I was used to making 6 figures a year before I went to prison. And I was getting down on myself. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. And then my auntie wanted to sell the place, and I was like, oh, that'll put me back at 6 figures. But I wasn't, I was using finite thinking at that time. But I did something that Noreen and myself and all of us, we all agreed upon when we were in there. Not just a vision board, but a goals board. And when the first day I got home, I bought a dry erase marker, a board about this big, and I wrote by truck, by house, by car. And I've surpassed all 3 of those things so far. My first job, no, actually while I was in the halfway house, so I want to rewind a bit. When I was in the halfway house, everybody's trying to get out of the halfway house to go out and go do whatever. So I heard of a group, not gonna lie to you, once again, woman comes in, a nice lady came in, and I'm like, I'm going there. Where's that? They said, that's Dad's Back Academy, and I was, where's that? Watts. Oh, Watts. I'm not from Watts. I'm from the West Side. I said, okay. Well, I said, how do we get there? They said the train. A train? I ain't never rode a train before. I've always had cars, and and before I had a car, we were on the bus. I'm not never riding a bus again. I mean, I just had like little standards about myself. I said, you know what? I'm going. So I ended up going to Dad's Back Academy and learned a whole lot of stuff about relationships, which I had already learned with Noreen. But more about relationships, about actually what they were trying to tell us, which I was listening to. But then when they had reopened those things up when I went to Dad's Back, about not just listening to your mate just to respond, but listening, taking it in, thinking about it, and then respond. Yeah. So and I said, hey, I remember this stuff. And so, and we also learned about character building, which was a class called Tyro, and P2P, which is parole to payroll, and then and about parenting, because it's a fatherhood program, but it's not just for mothers. I mean, not just for fathers, but for mothers and fathers. For anybody who's been previously incarcerated, you could come here if you're trying to get back in touch with your kids. Get the courts off of you. Anything that deals with you being previously incarcerated, and you trying to do, or you want to be better for yourself, so you be better for your family. That's what we deal in. And I had already knew about Friends Outside. They've been around for forever, as far as I was concerned. Right. I remember they used to, when nobody was writing me back in the day in the late '80s. Friends Outside used to write letters and whatnot, and they would have different people come and visit you, So it was something like that. And I remembered that, and so I went to the program. I did pretty good. I was the same rambunctious person I was in your group with them, and because I knew everything about banking, I knew what the difference was between a bank account and a credit union. I knew all those things, but what it was, they just reopened or rekindled those things that was in me. And then when I went home, like I said, I had some money. Somebody gave me a car. Somebody took me shopping. Somebody did all these things for me. And then, like I said, then I fell into that rut. And I fell into such a rut that I was just sitting down for about 6 months until I got pulmonary embolism. And for those that don't know what pulmonary embolism is, which I didn't know what the hell it was at first, I got a bad sensation in my chest. So I went to the doctors. Nobody knew what it was. They did what's that, the tube you go in, MRI? They did an MRI, and they found 2 blood clots about to attack my heart, where I would have been dead. I caught it just in time. And usually you get pulmonary embolism from being on a flight. Now this was crazy, to China or you broke a leg.
Long flights, very long flights.
Or you broke your leg and there's a cast on it, and you don't, and it's circulation. So I didn't know anything about it, and I caught it right in time in the hospital for about 7-8 days, and it was crazy because God works in mysterious ways as well. What happened is this: I got a phone call on about the 6th day I was in the hospital, and my auntie said, "Well, some guy just sold his property for $1.2 million, and he has to spend $885,000 on a piece of property, or he's going to take a hell of a tax hit."
Right.
And our place is only on the, for sale for $675. I'm like, so what are you telling me?
Right.
He said he's offering us $885. I said, God, heal me tonight. and I was out the hospital in the next 2 days. They shipped me back to Cedars-Sinai, and it was one of the top specialists in the world, not in the United States, in the world, was there in Cedars-Sinai, and he gave me some medicine and whatnot. And another miracle is I don't even have pulmonary embolism anymore.
Wow.
Because if you're a praying man like I am, and you believe, that's all you got to do, and it's real. Believe me, I'm still sitting here, and I don't take any medicine or anything anymore. I just try to take care of myself, drink in moderation, and do whatever I do in moderation.
So let me pause you right there, because I want to. So I'm just so grateful that you're here,
right?
Because your story and having the relationship. One of the things that I'm big about is trying to help people understand how you move and heal from the incarceration, right?
Oh yeah.
So one of the
That's
things,
big.
right? One of the things was that you said is you came home to a great situation. Not everybody comes home to a situation.
I was gonna get to that.
Right? Like yours.
I was gonna get to
So it's important to understand that there are things that he knew, there were circumstances that he had, things that he knew that helped him in his reentry.
Right.
So that's important to understand. The other thing is that I think is very good about your story, Derek, is that you were, no matter how it started, you got involved in everything you could while you were in prison.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Everything you could get that was there, you became a part of it.
Oh, absolutely.
I know too many people, and you know, like when I tell you this, because our group where you were was pretty big too.
Oh, absolutely.
It was huge in comparison to normal
30,
groups.
30,
right,
40
but guess
people
what?
sometimes.
But guess what? When I went to CIW before COVID, I had a group of 80, Derek, every week.
Oh, wow.
I had the whole SAP4 building in CIW.
Right.
So you can imagine that that's a huge group, and what it was is a lot of people were like you start telling people, they start telling people, and in fact you start telling people at Francisco Homes, directing new people to come to my group for the same reason that you did. So what it tends to be, and I'm grateful to hear you say, is the transparency, is my transparency that helps facilitate
well,
that.
you didn't seem fake. You did. It didn't seem like she read this stuff in a book.
What you want to say, Pipe?
She don't talk over your head.
Yeah, she's not using all these giant words. A lot of people couldn't understand. Well, I went to Toastmasters anyway, so I understood.
Right.
But she was very transparent, and what I mean by transparent, she was saying things that related to us.
Yes.
You were in a relationship with somebody that was incarcerated.
Right.
You're like, whoa.
Yeah.
So what that actually did, these motherfuckers in there talking, I'm trying to crack her. She saw this. So you got dudes washing up and lotioning all up, sitting all like this, and I'm like, wow. So instead of trying to learn, so I mean, but I'm gonna tell you this. I'll tell you this, because I was the MAC rep there.
What's that?
That's it ain't nothing but a glorified person that talks to the people for the people.
Okay, got you.
Yeah.
Okay, but some people need to know that. Okay.
Between the cops and the inmates.
Yeah.
Okay, got you. Thank you.
I'll say this for you. Your group and Toastmasters